Today we're going to be talking about 4 hard truths about love people learn too late. Word of the day is bond. And I ain't talking about a bond in a bank. I ain't talking about no glue that'll make something stick. Or bond out of jail. That's a good one. Thank you. A human bond, which if you're talking about having a relationship or you're talking about love, there has to be some sort of a bond. So here we go. Bond. The process of development of a close interpersonal relationship between 2 or more people. Interpersonal relationship. We saying interpersonal means I'm good with getting along with people. Intrapersonal, I'm good at getting to know who I am, my self-esteem, my conflict resolution, my anger management. A strong feeling of friendship, love, or shared beliefs and experiences that unites them. Saying of the day, love isn't a feeling, it's a practice. Love is not a feeling, it's a practice. Because we can feel like we love somebody, but our actions. 4 hard truths about love people learn too late. Many consider love, particularly romantic love, to be one of the highest forms of bonding among human relationships. Remember we said bond. The bond is the process of development of a close interpersonal relationship between 2 or more people, a strong feeling of friendship, love, or shared beliefs and experiences that unites them. So, many consider love, particularly romantic love, to be one of the highest forms of bonding among human relationships. The bond between romantic partners can have a life-altering impact upon those in love. They say that married couples live longer than people who are single. In reality, though, however, love is hard, can be messy and cruel. If you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't know what to look for, anyone who's ever been in love can tell you that it can leave you feeling brokenhearted, desperate, and lonely. As feelings and attraction fade, loving someone can feel confusing and difficult. So if your love is based on attraction, that's going to fade. 4 hard truths about love people learn too late. Number 1, love can be intoxicating. Love is a drug. For anyone who's ever been in love, you may have experienced loss of appetite, poor sleeping patterns, and irrational thinking. This happens because when we find someone attractive, our brain starts to release dopamine. For anyone who's ever been in love, you may experience a loss of appetite. Have you ever thought about somebody you was in love with and lost your appetite? I know I did when I was in middle school and high school. Had to put your fork down and just be sitting back smiling and thinking about her. Loss of appetite, poor sleeping patterns. Yep, you start thinking about them and you can't go to sleep because they on your mind. They just racing and running all through your mind. You're thinking about all kinds of scenarios. Yeah, that's love. Love will have you doing that. Also, irrational thinking. Love can create irrational thinking in that person. This happens because we find someone attractive, our brain starts to release dopamine. That's why when a woman is sitting down somewhere and a man walk in with some cologne on and he's tall, they look good, you get fluttered, like, start sitting up straight. We do it too. We see a fine woman walk in somewhere, we do the same thing. However, high levels of dopamine have been associated with aggression. High levels of dopamine have been associated with poor impulse control, binge eating, alcohol abuse, and jealousy. The fact is that the brain in love is strikingly similar to the brain under the influence of narcotics such as cocaine. Also, high levels of dopamine, check this out. High levels of dopamine decrease the production of serotonin. Now, serotonin helps regulate your mood, it helps regulate your appetite, and it helps regulate your sleep. See that? So as the love goes up, dopamine goes up, the serotonin goes down. That's why it's hard for you to have an appetite when you think about them. You see what I'm saying? That's why it messes with your sleep. Serotonin regulates your mood. So low levels of serotonin have been associated with, check this out, this is the other thing about low levels of serotonin, have been associated with anxiety and depression. The combination of high levels of dopamine and low levels of serotonin that make intense love all the more dangerous and highly addictive. And if left unchecked, love can drive us to make poor decisions and harm our bodies. Now, that's scary for somebody who is grown. Imagine somebody who's a teenager who don't really know about love. Come on. You don't know what to do with those emotions? You don't know how to handle that, and you don't know how to process it. You don't even know what it is. You know why? because most of us adults don't know what that is. Four hard truths about love. Four hard truths about love people learn too late. Number 2, the younger the love, the harder the fall. And if you ain't careful, if you don't have the right support system around you when you young, you're going to get it twisted. Because when I got my heart broken in high school and she cheated on me, I went to my uncle, man. Like, man, my girlfriend cheated on me. She went having sex with another dude. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what's going to talk to me? Look, you can't turn no hoe into no housewife. That was the last thing I wanted to hear. That was the last thing I needed to hear. Because it took me years to get that out of my head. If you're a young person and you got love and relationships twisted and you don't have a correct support system, you will mess around and be acting in a way that's totally adverse to what you want out of life. What do homecoming dances, senior proms, summer camps, and youth sports events have in common, young people? Grand gestures of romance in the form of intimate songs and challenges across all social media platforms drive many young people to yearn for their own romantic encounter. So research has shown that 35% of teens have been in a romantic relationship of some kind. Check that out. But what are the impacts of these relationships on the teen's mental health? A 2001 study by Cornell University examined the effects of romantic relationships on adolescent depression. They found that teens who were romantically involved experienced a significantly larger increase in symptoms of depression than those teens who were not. This happens especially when teens in love don't have a support system. They perform poorly in academics and have a poor relationship with their family. In addition, teens in love tended to experience more alcohol abuse, delinquency than those who weren't. While young romance can be sweet and enticing, it's always safer to approach with caution while building a healthy and reliable support system. The risk of being canceled. What it's saying is, before I get started, is that a lot of people nowadays are afraid to get in relationships because we live in a cancel culture. The same way they do you online now. You say the wrong thing, you post the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, and you get canceled. A lot of people are experiencing that right now. And the same thing with people in relationships. A lot of times people don't want to be honest about how they feel because we live in a cancel culture right now. So people are not being authentic. The risk of being canceled, the dynamics of human connection have been changing rapidly in the past few decades. With the development of social media and technology, people are making connections with others across the globe in a matter of seconds, which also makes intimate relationships much more accessible. Dating apps make it possible for people to find and date in just a few clicks. Easy access doesn't always mean easy success. The fact is that dating has been getting harder in the past 10 years. And you don't want to know why? Because people online, you go on them dating sites, you don't know what the hell you're getting. You don't. They're trying to make dating easy, but dating was never meant to be easy. We live in a microwave mentality right now. We want everything to be fast and quick. But when it comes to dating, that was never meant to be fast and quick. You hear people online trying to gaslight everybody. I don't want the kind of love my grandparents had. I don't want the kind of love my parents had, because that was toxic love. Then you look at the old pictures of them, they look so unhappy. The women look unhappy. They were making babies at home, taking care of kids at home, taking care of a house. Like, who wants to do that? They were not happy. And that's a damn lie straight from the devil. Because something that they had back then, even in slavery days, when they was jumping the broom, know what they had that we don't have today? Courting. That means where you take your time and get to know somebody. They had that back then, so you can lie all you want to today. Gaslight people. They had terrible love back then. The women were mistreated. The women were courted. That means he had to go pick her up. But before he can pick her up, because some people don't know what courting is, he had to go to the house and introduce himself to the family and make his intentions known to the father and the mother out of respect for the family. And then, depending on how they feel about you, you might be able to come over there and take their daughter out, but you had to bring her back at a certain time. And if you mess that up, you weren't taking her out no more. Not just that, you had to figure out what her favorite color was. You had to figure out what she liked. You had to figure out what her favorite meal was. All of that stuff. So they had courting back in the day. They don't have that no more. You go online on one of these dating apps, let me tell you something. You got women on these dating apps, they see a dude with a full beard and he looks all glossy, and that's enough. But did you run a background check to find out if he's a sex offender before you give him access to your children? Drug users all up in the house. Some of them are good at hiding it. See, now we be letting the fox right into the hen house nowadays because we don't be doing no courting. The fact is that dating has been getting harder in the past 10 years. This could be because more and more people aren't looking to date. You might be looking to date, but that person on that dating app might be looking for something else. Social media has created accountability for people's actions. It also made it increasingly difficult for people to do or say something without accusation, speculation, or repercussion, with almost no chance of reconciliation. The same fear applies to dating, where people have been canceled over one comment, one action, or one post about past relationships, which means that some people will cancel you quickly. You don't answer their phone call, they canceled you. Block your number. Yeah, I know he was going to pull this. Block. Oh, here we go. The world's declining interest in dating and increased risk of personal actions being taken out of context make dating less appealing and ever more challenging. 4 hard truths about love people learn too late. In the final one, number 4, married people can still feel lonely. Just because you married don't mean you got the perfect relationship. Would it surprise you that married people can still experience loneliness? This depends on the quality of the marriage. So no matter what, you got to still work to keep your relationship going, whether you're married or not. This depends on the quality of the marriage. Less than half, check this out. This blew my mind. Less than half of married couples, they did a study. They did a survey with married couples. And less than half of the married couples surveyed felt that they were in support of marriages. Less than half of marriage couples are in support of marriages. Now, why is that? Because people end up settling and linking up with somebody because they figure, hey, ain't nothing came around in a long time. Let me hop on this train. And now that now you got that piece of paper behind you, you got the paperwork on that person, it's harder to get out of it. Further research shows that partners who were in adverse and difficult marriages were more likely to experience loneliness in their marriages than their supportively married counterparts. So people who are in happy, loving marriages oftentimes do better than people who are in relationships that are difficult or marriages that are adverse, which means it's against everything you're trying to do. Creating a supportive environment through hard work and effort is crucial in maintaining a healthy marriage. Ultimately, it is up to us whether we decide to pursue love despite the risks and the challenges, because they are some. We must also understand the work it takes for marriages to be truly happy and supportive. It takes work. Just having a ring on your finger and a piece of paper in a safe does not mean that you're guaranteed to be happy. 4 hard truths about love people learn too late. Number 1, love can be intoxicating, just like cocaine. 2, the younger the love, the harder the fall. Number 3, the risk of being canceled. People are canceling people for the first little mistake you make. And they're just tossing you and getting rid of you. Number 4, married people can still feel lonely. Questions, concerns, or comments, y'all?
Comment. Learn to be content with yourself. Learn to love yourself first. And all of that will be taken care of. Large part of that.
I agree 100%.
Love yourself first.
Got to, man. Everything starts with loving yourself first. Everything. Everything. If you want to love somebody better, love yourself better.